Recession risks are falling. Economists, analysts, and experts are predicting the U.S. could be headed for a soft landing.
NTD Business host Don Ma speaks to a market strategist to find out outlook on the economy heading into next year.
And now joining us is Sam Burns, Chief Strategist at Mill Street Research. So Sam, Powell the other day said that he's seeing significant progress in terms of inflation. From the market perspective, it seems like no recession is in sight. So are we going to see the coveted soft landing?
I think something pretty close to it. I think we're almost already there now. If we're, the inflation rate, if you account for the lagged housing data, is already close to 2%. And real growth is running around 2% or so right now. So that's pretty close to a soft landing already. And I think as we get into next year, we'll be in that scenario, at least for a little while. I think the greater risk is that we get, a slowdown more than increase in inflation or growth. But yeah, I think right now we're looking like pretty close to a soft landing.
But Sam, how can we have a soft landing when, if we look at historical record, every time the Fed, when it has engaged in this sort of a hiking campaign, that we've always had a recession? So, what's different this time?
Well, I think there's two things. The big thing that's different this time is fiscal policy. That the infrastructure and kind of spending plans that came into effect in 2022 and then earlier this year have really helped kind of offset a lot of what the Fed has done in terms of tightening policy. Fiscal policy has been relatively stimulative and helping build productive capacity in the economy, which helps bring inflation down kind of over the longer term. The other thing is that it has actually happened before, just not often. It was the last time was about 30 years ago in 1995. There was an aggressive rate hike campaign in 1994, and then the Fed cut rates a few times in 95 as we got kind of a soft landing, and then the stock market did very well then as well. So I think some people may be actually looking back at that period as a comparison potentially. So it's just written rare, but it has happened before.
So would you say if there's any change in fiscal policy that we could have a recession next year maybe?
Yeah, I think the risk really is that fiscal policy becomes much more restrictive, that the federal government starts to do cost cutting, kind of deficit reduction, and really cuts back on spending or tries to curtail some of the plans that are in place now that are helping build infrastructure and manufacturing. So that would be the risk, is if fiscal policy becomes much tighter while monetary policy is also relatively tight. Those two things happening together are actually what has tended to cause recessions in the past. The fact that we've had monetary policy being tight and fiscal policy being looser has helped balance things out. And so as long as that continues, we're probably okay. If fiscal policy gets tight also, that could be a problem.
So final question, what's your base case for 2024 when it comes to recession?
I think we probably can avoid a recession in 2024. I think growth will be, decent, but not, spectacular. And I think inflation will come back down. So I'm thinking something closer to a soft landing, at least for the first half of the year, and then we'll have to see, what happens politically as we go into the second half of the year. But I'm thinking, moderate growth for 2024, no recession.
All right, Sam Burns, Chief Strategist, Mill Street Research. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.